Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, Gardening in Cold Spring Harbor. For those of you who are new to my channel, I'm in Long Island, New York, Zone 7A. Many will agree that the month of March this year has been quite different. We had low air temperatures, many rainy and windy days here in Long Island, New York, but it's finally April, it's finally spring, and the temperatures have been warming up rather quickly. Many of you have been writing more comments to me, have been giving me very positive feedback about my videos. And first and foremost, I want to thank each and every single one of you, my loyal viewers, and you guys, my precious subscribers, for all the comments that you write to me. And of course, for all of your support and positive comments. It's you guys that keep me motivated and going. Depending on where you live around this world, some of us are just starting seeds inside indoors. And some of us are already harvesting our first set of crops. In today's video, I wanted to share with you what my home garden looks like now in the middle of April 2024. So in today's video, we're going to take a full tour of my home garden. I'm going to show you what's already in full bloom, what's waking up from dormancy, and what is still asleep. So for those of you looking for the online gardening channel that offers tips, tricks, easy, yet proven gardening advice to take your home garden to that next level, don't go anywhere, guys. Stick around with me today. Start with going below this video and clicking the subscribe button. If you want YouTube to send you notifications every single time I'll upload a new garden video, don't forget to click the bell icon as well. Now come with me. Let's get gardening. Without any further ado, let's get this April 2024 home garden tour started. And I want to start today's tour with these stunning beauties right behind me. And these are my spring blooming containers that we, together with you, potted up last fall. I placed these beauties right over here in front of my front entry door. And look at these stunners. They are in absolute full bloom. Just take a look at all these gorgeous flowers. You have your hyacinths. You have two different daffodil varieties. Gorgeous tulips right over here. Just look at the colors of the hyacinths. You have your blue hyacinths. You have the lavender colored hyacinths, the white hyacinths, the magenta hyacinths as well. As you recall, all of these bulbs will come up and bloom at various times. And once all of them are up, you're going to have this huge, abundant display of beautiful blooms. As you could see, some daffodils are in full bloom, some are getting ready to open up, some tulips are blooming, some are just getting ready to bloom. Look at this beautiful spring blooming lasagna container. Tall, gorgeous daffodils. And look how nice the hyacinths complements these daffodils. You have your coral color hyacinths, the white, the yellow. The daffodils smell out of this world. And all the tulips that are getting ready to bloom. Aren't these containers just so gorgeous? If you guys are interested in how I pot my spring blooming containers with spring blooming flower bulbs, I have the video still available on my gardening channel, Gardening in Cold Spring Harbor. It's super easy. It's a fun project to do with your children at home. And guess what, guys? Once the spring arrives, just look at these beauties and you save yourself so much money. You don't have to buy a single spring blooming container at your local garden center. Now let's go right along and take a look at what else is in gorgeous full bloom now. I can never just walk by and not stop and stare at this beautiful weeping cherry tree. This tree is planted at the entryway to my backyard right over here. And right now, in the middle of April, it is covered in beautiful, light pink colored blooms. And it's absolutely gorgeous. Here is a close-up look of the same weeping cherry tree from my backyard. Just look at the abundant amount of gorgeous pink colored blooms. It almost looks like a large cotton candy. I am loving it. And during the hot summer month, this tree, the foliage of this tree provides excellent shade supports for my raised beds right over there. I can't get enough of it. Sometimes as I'm cooking in my kitchen or just, sitting and having a meal, I just stare out of the window to enjoy these gorgeous blooms. Look at this beautiful 60-year-old Japanese cherry blossom tree. It is huge. And every single branch is covered in these beautiful pink colored flower buds. It's going to bloom within the next few short days. And when the entire tree blooms, you could see it for miles away. It looks like a huge, bright pink cotton candy. It's absolutely stunning. And once the petals start falling, my front yard looks like a pink carpet. It's absolutely beautiful. Take a look at this beautiful Jane magnolia tree. Look at the amount of blooms. I planted this tree about 1.5 years ago from a small tree transplant, and just look how quickly this tree has grown. And look at these beautiful lavender colored blooms. I love my Jane magnolia tree because it's actually one of the very first trees that bloomed for me in a very early spring. It blooms when many of other trees are still dormant. Just look at this gorgeous magnolia in bloom as well. I am not familiar with this variety as I was not the one who planted it. This gorgeous tree has been planted here for quite a few years by previous house owners. If you guys can let me know in the comments section below if you are familiar with this magnolia variety and what the name of this gorgeous variety is. Look at the stunning, ginormous white colored blooms, and the fragrance is just outstanding. A wall of beautiful bright yellow colored blooms, and all of these are from my beautiful gorgeous golden Forsythia shrubs. Each of them is covered from top to bottom with beautiful, almost banana yellow colored blooms. I am in love with these shrubs. Why? Because they're one of the very first shrubs, or plants for that matter, that wake up from dormancy and start to bloom for me very early spring, when most of the other plants are still asleep and dormant. Beautiful. And they make excellent border plants as well. Just take a look for yourself. All the new beautiful green foliage growth as well. All of my rose shrubs have woken up from their dormancy period and have put on all this beautiful new lush growth. Just look at all this gorgeous foliage. I pruned these guys down hard last fall. Of course, I fertilized them to get them ready for the winter, and look how beautifully they have come back for me now. Look at all the pollinators over there. Isn't this just gorgeous? I can't wait till they start forming flower buds and blooming for me. Look at the color of this rose foliage. It is a combination of green and burgundy. Isn't this just gorgeous? And yes, guys, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the color of this foliage. Different rose varieties do have different colored foliage, especially when they're just waking up from dormancy. But look how lush this shrub looks. And you know what? I just planted in my home garden last year, and it's doing a great job for me here. I'm so proud of this rose shrub. My tulips are all in absolute full bloom. I love spring blooming flowers, especially tulips. I have over 30 different tulip varieties growing in my home garden, and every single fall I add yet another beautiful tulip variety. These are the early bloomers. I have some mid-season bloomers right over here that haven't opened up, but you could see that they came up beautifully and getting ready to open up and bloom for me as well. Let me show you some more of my home planted tulips. Look how gorgeous all these tulips look together, and how large these tulip blooms are. They're almost as large as the palm of my hand. Just look at these purple stunners in full bloom. Look how deep purple the coloring is. Almost reminds me of the color of grape juice. It's that dark purple. What about these bright yellow showstoppers? These tulips just take my breath away. Look at the abundant amount of petals on each of the blooms. Look at the gorgeous color combination, the bright yellow, the red on the sides. Aren't these just absolutely gorgeous? They don't even look like your typical tulips. And the flower blooms are huge. Some of them take half the size of the palm of my hand. What about these mid-spring blooming tulips? Just take a look at the gorgeous coloring of the foliage, the combination of green and burgundy. Almost looks like somebody painted burgundy stripes on the leaves. They're not in full bloom just yet. I'm expecting them to bloom within the next few weeks. Beautiful bright yellow tulips here as well. I think the yellow color goes beautifully with the red tulips as well as yellow colored daffodils. Look at these showstoppers over here. They are smaller in size, so the bloom heads are smaller, but look, you get one stem and 5 to 6 blooms per stem. Isn't that amazing? And the fragrance is just outstanding. All of my salvia is coming up as well, including all of the hosta. It came up and the foliage is growing beautifully. Beautiful grape hyacinths here as well. Look at the shape of the blooms. They look like little bells. What about these stunners right over here? Look how many petals each of these blooms has. And look at the shape of the petals. Here is what a classic tulip looks like. The petals are more round on the edges, but take a look at this. Look how pointy they are. Almost looks like a star. More and more different tulip varieties, and these are just by my driveway. I have lots and lots more growing and blooming in my rose garden. Look at this, the combination of magenta and white. Isn't this just breathtaking? I want to show you some of my parrot tulip varieties, like this guy right over here. Beautiful magenta coloring, and look at the shape of the blooms. You could see it's almost like the petals are torn, but they're not. Isn't this just gorgeous? Here is yet another parrot variety. Just look how beautiful these petals look. Look at the shape. I love this almost torn like look to the petals. Makes it look so much more exotic. Look at this parrot tulip variety. The combination of yellow, the green, the bright red in the center. Just look at these beauties. Look at this showstopper right over here. It is almost bending towards the sunlight. That's how much it's enjoying the gorgeous warm spring weather today. And look at the color combination. It has the green, the yellow, the orange, the red. Beautiful. We are now in my rose garden area right over here. You guys have seen this area before from my previous videos. And this area has quite a lot of tulip varieties planted and growing in it. So the ones you see blooming over here are the early spring blooming varieties. Look at these huge red blooms. Look at these almost star-shaped blooms. The corals. I have lots and lots of tulips as well as daffodils growing in this area. Again, I have planted all of these from bulbs myself, and as I mentioned previously, I do like to add a few varieties to this area every single year. Many of you guys have reached out to me and asked me, why do I call this area my rose garden? Because majority of the plants planted in this area are roses. However, as many of you home gardeners know, roses do bloom only during the summer season. And I don't want to leave this entire gorgeous area empty, lacking of color, blooms. So I planted various other bulbs in here as well to bring out that pop of much needed and loved color until my beauties are ready to perform for me as well. Look at this combination of orange and yellow. Almost looks like fire. Gorgeous. All of my daylilies came up as well right over here. Of course, right now in April, I don't expect them to be in bloom, but I'm loving the orange against the green. Beautiful. Look at the color of this tulip. Deep burgundy color with the white on the edges of the petals. This is absolutely gorgeous, and I love to plant various color combinations together. I think these white tulips go amazing next to these gorgeous daffodils. I planted this new daffodil variety last fall. In fact, my son Leonard has helped me plant these stunners, and I can't get enough of the blooms. Look at the color. The centering is hot orange against the beautiful mild yellow colored petals. And look at the shape of the inner orange part. It almost looks like it's torn. Look how many petals you get. It's absolutely gorgeous. And the fragrance, it's absolutely delightful. Look at all of my established Ito peonies. They are inside these supports, but look how beautifully they came up. Look at all the growth. I can't wait to see the gorgeous blooms in a matter of a few short weeks. My gorgeous iris plants, bearded iris plants, are up and growing as well. I plant all of my iris from a rhizome, and I still have that video available on my gardening channel, Gardening in Cold Spring Harbor. So if you're interested in how I plant and grow these beautiful iris plants from a store-bought rhizome, you should check that video out as well, as it's still available on my channel, Gardening in Cold Spring Harbor. Look at all my hyacinth in absolute full bloom. Just look how gorgeous these blooms are. The light pink, the magenta, the white, the blue. Isn't this just absolutely breathtaking? The daffodils are loving the sun. Just look at all of them in full bloom. I have various daffodil varieties right over here by my front door. and they all look stunning. They're loving all the bright sunlight. Just to look how huge these blooms are. The coral, the peach in the center, the off-white, and the fragrance is absolutely out of this world. Just look at this. Look at all these beautiful grape hyacinths. Aren't they beautiful? They look like little bells almost. I have them in this beautiful rich blue color, as well as this stunning bright white color as well. Just look at my currants. This is my black currant shrub. It is absolutely huge, and many don't even believe that I planted this beauty last year from a bare root. It's at least 4 feet tall. It's clearly woken up from dormancy. You could see all the green, beautiful growth. I want to show you how many flower blooms are on the shrub right now. Every single branch is covered from very top to bottom with an abundance of flower buds, and each flower bud equals a black currant. Just take a look for yourself. The foliage is beautiful, green and glossy. Look at all these flower buds. Right over here, I have some red currants growing as well. Look at these beautiful flower buds. This plant is also covered from top to bottom with beautiful flower buds and blooms. And again, each of these flower buds equals a red currant berry. My blueberry shrubs are covered in flower blooms as well. Look at the abundant amount of flower blooms. I have some more established blueberry varieties. Here is yet another one, also fully covered in flower buds. And I have some younger blueberry varieties that I just planted last summer, but they're in bloom as well. Let me show you. And here are my 2 younger blueberry shrubs that I actually picked up on clearance last summer from Home Depot Garden Center. This is the High Bush Hybrid Chipiva variety. And look guys, it is also covered in all of these beautiful flower buds. The entire shrub is covered in these flower buds. So is the other one. I am so happy that these newly planted shrubs are loving exactly where I planted them and where I'm growing them. My herbs have woken up from dormancy. They're up and growing like crazy. Just take a look at these chives. They're nice and green. And look how tall they are already. I love to come out here almost on every single day basis. Use my scissors to cut these beautiful ends of the chive stems and use them for everyday cooking for my family and my kiddos. Look at this sage. Look at all the new growth. It is doing such a great job putting on all this new foliage, all this new aroma. I'm going to fertilize it a bit later today because I see how hard it's trying for me, so I want to give it a nice boost. Lots and lots of beautiful mint growth. My mint is up and growing beautifully. Look at all of these gorgeous mint leaves. Remember guys, mint is quite an invasive plant, so you should plant it either in a container or a smaller area in your home garden where you can actually restrict its growth, because if you plant it in an open home garden area, it will take over your entire garden space. Here is my strawberry raised garden bed patch. Look how nice and green these strawberries are looking. Remember guys, we prepped them for winter season together with you guys. We cleaned up my raised garden bed together and the strawberries came up beautifully. Look at all the new growth. Here are my container grown strawberries. Look how lush and green the foliage looks. And take a look, guys, I'm already seeing flowers. Isn't this amazing? Which means we're gonna get to harvest strawberries very, very shortly. My garlic is also growing beautifully in my raised garden bed over here in my backyard. The foliage is nice and tall and green, and now that the weather is finally warming up and spring is here, I am going to fertilize my garlic once again. Look at this beautiful spring blooming shrub. Look at the abundant amount of fragrant white blooms. The fragrance that comes from these blooms is out of this world. Every time I walk by, I feel like I've entered a perfume store. It is absolutely astonishing. The problem is, guys, I might need your help as I don't know the name of the shrub. The shrub has been planted in my home garden by previous homeowners, and I would truly like to know the name of this gorgeous shrub. If you guys can help me out, please leave a comment in the comment section below with the name of this beautiful spring blooming shrub. And here is my beautiful spring inspired container that I planted a few days ago. All of my container planted peonies have also came up and woke up from their dormancy period. I planted all of these bare root peonies last spring from bare roots, and they're doing just wonderfully. Remember, guys, if you plant your peonies from a bare root, the first 2 to 3 years they're considered baby plants, and all you can expect to see is mainly foliage growth, and that's exactly what I'm seeing right over here. We can't expect to see blooms at least until 2 years into their growing period, and the foliage color will vary from burgundy to green, as well as deep green colors depending on the peony varieties. My mature established azalea shrubs are getting ready to bloom. This beauty over here is getting quite a head start, and look at the abundant amount of flower buds on these shrubs. Here are my potato containers. I am growing 4 different potato varieties this year: the red Norland, the Yukon Gold, the Superior White, and the blue potato variety. And you could see that the sprouts have broke the ground and started to come up. Can't wait till I start to see green foliage growth. For those of you guys who always wanted to plant and grow potatoes in your home garden, but never knew that you can plant and grow them in containers, I have a video on my gardening channel, Gardening in Cold Spring Harbor, where I show you step by step how I plant, grow, care for, and harvest my container grown potatoes. You should definitely check out that video as well if you are interested. We are back at my Southside garden, and I want to show you what is growing beautifully here now in the middle of April 2024. I have my beautiful snow crown cauliflower variety planted and growing right over here. It's doing wonderfully, and look how big it's getting. Here is my corn. I planted 4 corn plants this year, as I don't have that much space, and corn can get quite large and quite tall, but they're nice and green. They're loving the sunlight and the light wind breeze. Here is my broccoli. Beautiful large size transplants. They are doing just great. Here are my Brussels sprout transplants. Look how nice and large these guys are getting. And here's yet another brassica, and this is my cabbage. Look how large those transplants are. Here are some of my raspberries that I've grown in my home garden. They woke up from dormancy, beautiful. They're putting on nice green growth. As you have seen in my previous videos, I have quite a few raspberry varieties grown in my home garden. I planted them and grown them here in my Southside garden. Why? Because this is the area that gets most direct, bright sunlight. Right over here in this corner, I have more currant shrubs. This is my red currant. Nice, tall, look at that beautiful green foliage. And I have my black currant right over here in the corner. And look at all the flowers. Every stem is covered in these gorgeous flower buds. I also have quite a few blackberries growing in my south side garden, right over here against this fence. I trellis them to train their growth, but they're also awake from their dormancy and they're growing beautifully. Look at all the new growth they're putting on. Just look at all those baby leaves. Here is my Jersey giant asparagus. It is getting quite tall. However, as you home gardeners may recall, we don't get to harvest our asparagus for the first 3 years. And these beauties are only 1 year old. So I'll let them grow. And I'm waiting for the perfect time to harvest them. Look at all my beautiful ranunculus. I know that many treat ranunculus as an annual and plant new corms every single year. I, on the other hand, over winter my ranunculus, I use frost protection cloths, hoops, and garden staples. And take a look, guys. It's absolutely fine. Look how thick the stems are. Look how green the foliage is. And look at all of these newly formed flower buds. And again, I am in Long Island, New York, zone 7A. And my ranunculus comes back for me year after year. Look at those huge, beautiful flower buds. Look at my beautiful dogwood tree. It's awake from its dormancy phase and it's starting to bloom. Look at these beautiful burgundy colored blooms. Beautiful baby foliage on them. I am loving all of these gorgeous blooms. My hydrangea right over here. This is a pinnacle hydrangea. Of course, it's not in bloom, guys, as it blooms in the middle of summer. But look at all the beautiful new green foliage. Can't wait until it blooms in the matter of the next few months. This is it for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for joining here in my home garden in Long Island, New York, zone 7A. If you have enjoyed the content of today's video, if you found today's video to be useful, helpful, informative, in absolutely any way, don't be shy, guys. Show me that support by clicking thumbs up below. Leave your comments in the comment section as well. Let me know what's in full bloom in your home garden. If you haven't yet subscribed to my garden channel, Gardening in Cold Spring Harbor, don't wait any longer, guys. Do so today. Just go below this video and click the subscribe button. Don't forget to click the bell icon as well if you want YouTube to send you notifications every single time I'll upload a new garden video. Stay healthy, happy, be well, each and every single one of you. And as I always like to say, happy gardening, guys, and I'll see you again in my upcoming gardening videos. Bye, guys.